Okay. I couldn't find the button, but I found it under the toggle switch. Okay, now we're on. Hi, welcome to the meeting. First meeting of the semester. It is January 25th, and thank you for joining us. My name is Riya Keswani. I'm the PTO president, and we're going to go ahead and get started. The secretary needs to take attendance of our board members for the most part. So Yasi, if you just let me know if you need me to stop. If not, I'm just going to keep rolling. Thanks to everyone who is logging on. I know that it has been a crazy couple of weeks with the weather and everyone's still getting back into the swing of things. Hopefully, folks had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes. We are not going to spend a lot of time reading together. There is a link in the agenda for the minutes, and the minutes have actually been up for 2 months because our secretary is fantastic and had them posted very early. So hopefully if someone had an error to report, they did so. Let me see if I can switch screens without losing everyone. Advanced sharing options indeed.
Maria, do you need help?
All the time. Can y'all see oh
yes,
look at me. This is a much better version of the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the minutes. You know what, raise your hand if you need me to pull up the minutes if you can't pull it up on your own. Okay, no one does. All right, do I have a motion to pass the minutes as they have been presented and posted on the website for the last 2 months?
I motion, Jackie.
Allison seconds.
Jackie Rincon. Allison seconds. All those in favor, you can use your emoticon or you can put it in the chat. I am also in favor.
I couldn't find the hand for whatever reason.
Yeah, the new Zoom has too many options. So we're passing minutes. Mala, do we have we do have some alumni, so that may be why we have fewer voting members than usual.
By coming from the gym or coming from the zone, you know?
I counted 8, Maria, so I'm not sure it's enough for the quorum. Yeah.
9.
including mine?
No, including you. I mean, maybe it could be 9, but I count 8. So I mean, anything 8 and over, we are okay.
Okay. Let me put the let me find the poll.
Okay.
Okay. It thinks that I've logged in from another place. Is anyone else
I'm
logged
not
into
sure
the
where
PTO?
y'all are voting. I'm not seeing anybody else's, so I just voted where I voted, but maybe there's another chat.
You can vote in the chat, or you can vote using your emoticon. So Jennifer voted in the
Okay.
chat. So we've got 2 approved in the chat. I'm not able to pull the poll up for some reason. I don't. Someone else is logged into the PTO account. That happened last time. Okay, that's.
I see all the emojis. I mean, the hands up pretty much.
Okay.
So yeah. So I think it's okay. We can say it's passed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the others are students. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Taking a little bit back.
Okay. So new business. So we have a relationship to announce, an opportunity. So there is another nonprofit, Super Girls Shine Foundation, which their mission statement is to help young women, girls of color in STEM get into college, university, and professions in STEM. And they have reached out to try to open up some spots for our students. And we're pretty excited about that. And we are, sorry, how to clear that. So there is a social on Thursday, February 1st. We're going to be distributing this on our social media and whatnot, but it's on your screen here. Some of our teachers that are in, the math and sciences that have some of the clubs that are along those lines are who we're hoping, if they have students that, especially students that might otherwise not have these opportunities, that might want to participate in this program, is especially who they are looking to join this organization. So it seems pretty exciting, and we're hoping that this can be part of our college readiness program. So this is going to be available on the website. It's also on the agenda if you downloaded it. And then on Saturday, February 17th, this is available, and these are for grades 3 through 12. So if you know of any younger girls, or if you yourself have a younger girl that is interested in STEM, this might be something that you might want to take advantage of. Crash Bash. If you were here last year, we had our first annual Crash Bash, and that was our spring social. Our fundraising and social VPs are here, so I'm not going to go into the details of the event. But what we've done is try to divide up the work by having co-chairs this year. Crash Bash is both a fundraiser and a social event. Last year was a blast. Our volunteers did an amazing job. We had a really great time. So this year we're hoping to duplicate that and multiply it. So we have a save the date. It's going to be Saturday, April 20th. This is going to be after people have gotten their magnet decisions. And so we're hoping to invite our up and coming rhinos, but also our senior parents who are ready to celebrate their seniors outgoing. So it should be a nice big event. And we're planning on having it at Flight Club again. And it's right before Teacher Appreciation Week. So we want to celebrate our faculty and staff and treat them again. So we need a really robust committee to help us prepare. So we're planning on having our first interest meeting next Tuesday, 12:30 online. And probably we're going to have weekly meetings until the committee gets on its feet and decides how they want to take things. So well, there are lines there. Anyways, okay, I'll have a better one of these QR codes up in a moment. But the one that is on the website does not have a line through the QR code. We'll have this also on the calendar. So if you're interested and for some reason Tuesdays at 12:30 doesn't work for you, that's fine. The committee is going to work things out, but we just want to know that we've got people who are interested in helping. And if you don't want to help on the committee, that's okay too. Save the date, Saturday, April 20th. And my last bit, Senior Scholarship Committee, which is near and dear to my heart. That's how I got involved many years ago now in PTO, is getting started. This is a great committee, unless you have a senior, in which case you cannot help. Otherwise, please help. And we're going to start getting meeting Thursdays, 12:30 to 1. Same deal. That QR code is intact. And I will let our veteran, Jackie, talk about that a little bit more. Again, if there are any questions, we can talk about that after the meeting. And we have some of our scholars here today, and that's probably who everyone wants to hear from. Okay, our treasurer, Vibhavi.
Hi, sorry, yeah. I'm in an Uber right now, but highlights of this. So we are seeing the statement of activities. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. But this is what's happened so far as of January 8th when we ran the report. The biggest thing that I want to talk about, the highlights are, we had a budget of 66 for fundraising and we're at 57,000. So kudos to the VP of fundraising and to our community, which is everybody on this call. Thank you for your generous donation and just for being there. And even I know Jennifer's on this call. I want to talk about just the holiday baskets and how generous everybody has been with all their everything, all the donations that they've given us. I mean, it's amazing. It helps us, get the teachers' needs, get the students' needs up and running. So that's what I wanted to highlight. We had if you actually go to the budget, we can see the 57 versus the 66, which is what we have, the budget versus what we've raised so far. Other than that, this is up on the website. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. Crash Bash is the biggest event, so that's going to be our next push to raise funds and raise money and just get our community up and running and going. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison, our VP of fundraising.
I'm here, sorry. I was just gonna say we have Crash Bash coming up, and last year was great planning it, and we definitely need people on this committee to help get auction prizes and make it even better than it was last year. And then again, thank you, just like Mojave said, that thank you all for donating. We are so close to our goal. And Davis Chevrolet, I want to say thank you to them. They gave us a $6,000 corporate sponsor donation. Oh, is that coming up in your paper? Sorry, Maria. Oh, and so as a $6,000 as a corporate sponsor. So that's exciting. So if you need to buy a car or get your car serviced, go to Davis Chevrolet over by Reliant. Thank you again.
Thank you. That was a good point. No, it's on the website, but I'm scared to switch again, the screens. But if you look on our website, all our donors are there on the left side of the screen. No, I was just trying to get to the right QR code when it's complete. Okay.
Maria, do you want to let Mala do her thing if she has to leave?
Yeah, sure. Mala, you want to give us a update on senior?
Yes. Thank you so much, Maria and the team. Yes, so it's me, Mala. I'm a parliamentarian, but I also volunteered myself as a senior parent. So any questions you have, please send them my way regarding senior stuff. I'll try to find answers for you. So my update is we decided, seniors decided on a prom, and that prom is going to be on May 25th. It's Sunday in the Lot Hall. It's very close to Zoo, the Memorial Park area, very close to Zoo. So that's decided. And I really appreciate if everybody can pay the senior dues. The deadline is approaching fast, and the sooner we get all the money in, we can start booking the stuff. There is still, we need to plan for the trips and, and still pay for a lot of stuff for prom as well. So I'll really appreciate if all the parents can put in their money for the dues if you have not paid. And if you have a doubt, there is a list. I also have access to that list. So if you have a doubt that whether the money has been paid or not, please reach out to me, and I will try to see whether it's done on your end or not. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And that's me signing off.
Okay. And now back to special events. Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie. I don't know if you can see me. I can't tell because I'm at a soccer game, but I just wanted to let you know that we are working on more parent social events and students. We're actually meeting tomorrow, my co-chair and I, and thank you for joining us for our senior or alumni. I'm super excited. This committee is near and dear to my heart, so I hope you consider joining the senior scholarship committee. Right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Susan Haas, our past president report, and our FACE representative.
Whoops, okay, now I'm unmuted. Rather like Jackie, I can't see myself, so I hope you guys can see me and not my ceiling or the lamp or the cat. So I am our past president, which means I am here to be institutional memory, like answering stuff in the chat so Maria can talk, for instance. And I'm also our FACE rep. FACE is Family and Community Engagement. And there are two things. Our FACE liaison, like the district employee who works with us, is Ms. Jacqueline Jacobo. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And I invited her to come to our PTO meeting and see what we do. And she's here, which that's really nice of you. Thank you very much for coming. And, feel free to ask me questions later and we can show you around the website and show you where things are. But my other announcement is that there is Maria's got all the information up there on screen for you guys. On Saturday, February 10th, what FACE does is support parents and parent organizations like our PTO. So they are having their annual PTO Expo on February 10th, which is a Saturday morning. Even the rest of the board doesn't know this yet. Mr. Moss and I have been asked to speak. So I think I was a little more comfortable with that idea than Mr. Moss is. So, cheer him up and tell him he's going to do a great job. And they also need volunteers. So everybody please come support Carnegie, like wear your Carnegie gear if you can. And they need volunteers to help run it. It's going to be at Lamar High School. I believe if you are signed up for VIPS, then you would have received an email about that, because I got an email simply because I was signed up for VIPS and not because of my FACE coordinator job. But if you are interested in attending, there is an Expo volunteer sign up form, and I will work with our communications people to get it on our social media shortly. But I wanted to announce it first. And I think that's everything I've got. Thank you guys for making last minute room for me in the agenda. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I don't know, we've got a permanent spot for our faculty rep, Mr. Arredondo, but I don't know if he would actually be able to speak because he is the soccer coach, and that's where Jackie is. So I'm going to guess not.
He is unavailable. No, he is not available. I can see him. Yeah. No.
Very good. Very good. Ms. Williams, I don't know if our wraparound specialist has anything to share. She is often here. I'm scrolling. Well, I will say, and I saw Jennifer was here. Jennifer is our wraparound committee chair, and she and Ms. Williams did an amazing job for the holiday baskets. They, I hope everyone saw some of the posts of what was done. It was just like Jennifer's done. She's been the chair now for a few years, and just it's very touching, and they can't do it without all of the gifts and the gift cards and the donations that come from all the parents. And I think I say this every meeting, but 99% of the parents that are the ones that donate are the same parents that show up to these meetings. So thank you. So the families that need it the most are the ones that benefit. And it was just very touching to see what an amazing job, because it's one thing to just, you know, hand people a bag full of groceries or whatnot, but the care and love that went into the baskets that they made, it was remarkable. So, I think we're at my favorite part, Principal Moss,
Well,
state of the school.
I will butt in for just a second. Watching the chat, Andrea has a request that Mr. A asked her to pass along.
Good evening, everybody. And I actually know a little bit about that, and I'll be corresponding with the executive board about that. I got some clarity about that request, and it basically involves the ability to receive recordings of our athletic events. The district will record those, but schools have to pay a fee in order to have access to the recordings of those games. And since soccer is new, we weren't a part of that. And so the request is for funding it to be able to have access to the recordings. And this would be useful, especially for athletes who are hopeful collegiate athletes. And those recordings would be able to highlight performances of certain athletes. So in a nutshell, that's what the request is about. And I just got more clarity about that from our athletic coordinator on campus, Coach Scott, today. So again, I can correspond with the executive board a little bit more about that. So we are currently in cycle 4, starting a brand new semester, and cycle 4 lasts until February 27th. Cycles 4, 5, and 6 do tend to be a little bit lengthier than the fall semester grading cycles. But I do want to forewarn everybody, many of those days are testing days. And so for a lot of our students, based on what grade level they're in, there are many testing days associated with that. And our next testing date would be for freshmen. We are taking an English 1 field test on Tuesday, February the 6th. And of course, that's a little bit less than 2 weeks from now, but we will certainly notify freshmen and parents of freshmen in anticipation of that February 6th date. And that is a English 1 field test. Between now and the next PTO meeting, there is a holiday for students. That is Monday, February 19th. That is a staff professional development. And of course, students, there's no school for students on that date. Also, another, I hate to say it, but warning. I want to make sure that our students remain in good standing when it comes to attendance. The spring semester, once again, is a little bit more lengthy. We don't know the actual limit to the number of days before students might lose credit if they have excessive absences. But I want to say, and don't quote me on this, but I believe our students would be okay if they have 7 or fewer than 7 absences. And again, I don't know the actual cutoff just yet. And that is because we have a modified schedule. We have 3 days out of the week in which students attend all 7 classes. Those are traditional days. And then Wednesday and Thursday are block days. So those, or that situation plays a role into absences. And it is not the school, it is not the HISD, but it is the state that would place an asterisk on the report card, again, if students have excessive absences. A caveat to that, there is consideration for certain illnesses, lengthy illnesses, and some of those, of course, we are aware of in COVID and various other things, the flu. So it's imperative that students do return to school within 3 days of an absence with a note from a parent or especially from a physician. So please keep that in mind. And I believe within the next few weeks, maybe sometime in February, we will receive official word on the school calendar for the 24-25 school year. As you may know, HISD will become a district of innovation, and thus school will start for students a little bit earlier than the typical 4th Monday in August. So sometime in February, we hope to receive the official calendar for that. So stay tuned. And then probably most importantly, things to celebrate, you all may have heard that Children at Risk, a local organization, has ranked schools throughout the state. But when it comes to the Houston metropolitan area, Carnegie ranks as the #1 school. So we're very proud of that. There was a press conference on this past Monday, and we're so just thrilled to receive that recognition from the Children at Risk organization. And then last but not least, HISD has released preliminary rankings. What HISD believes will be the TEA rankings for schools within the district. And Carnegie, once again, is ranked as an A school. There are points associated with the score, and I've done some preliminary research and review of the data. There's only one school so far that I've seen that received the score of 99, and guess which school that is? That is Carnegie, so we're very happy for that. I believe there were 2 schools that had a score of 98, and then about 3 schools that received a score of 97. And then many other schools that are A schools. And I believe the superintendent has made that public as of Monday evening. And so if you want to access that, please go onto the district website. Or if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is rmoss@houstonisd.org, and I'd be happy to send you a link to those ratings. That's it for me. Thank you.
I think Mr.
Hi, Mr. Moss. I had a question. Are you super proud of yourself that you're like one of the only schools that went up when all the other schools plummeted a little bit, dropped a whole lot?
I can say this. I'm a
You pat
praying
yourself on the back?
No, I give credit to the students, number one, the teachers, the faculty, the staff, and the parents, and really all of us. You know, I embrace
Well,
all of it. But I'm a praying man, and I cannot sleep at night until I say my prayers, and I'm extremely thankful for, I always say, not community and not team, but the Carnegie family. So,
well, it
yeah.
was pretty incredible to look at those numbers. So, yeah, good job. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Congratulations to all of us.
I think there's a question in the chat about the difference between the field test and the English test that the underclassmen just took.
Yes. So as far as I know, initially, Carnegie would participate in what they call MAP testing, and that is the NWEA test that they considered the BOI, beginning of the year test, the MOI, middle of the year, and EOI, end of the year. But since the start of school, the district decided for the middle of the year, we would not take MAP or NWEA test. We would take the STAR interim. And to be honest with you, I think that's a good idea because freshmen took English 1, sophomores English 2. Freshmen also took biology and algebra 1. And I believe that especially for our freshmen, it's a good practice for the real test that will take place later this spring semester. So I think that's a good thing. The field test, I don't know all of the details on how or which schools were selected to take that. I believe the district wants to be able to compare performance between certain schools. And again, I'm not sure if it was a random selection, but about all of the STAR tests, Carnegie was selected to take English 1. I don't know if HISD would make comparisons between the interim STAR test that students took last week with the field test that is upcoming on, what did I say? On February the 6th. I'm not exactly sure. But again, I do think that both of these tests will help our freshmen to become familiar with what will become the real test again later this spring.
Andrea has her hand up. Do you?
Yeah, hi. I'm at the soccer game too, and I just wanted to thank Mr. Moss for acknowledging Mr. A's request and explaining what he wanted, because he just mentioned it. I just talked to him earlier, so before the game. So hopefully, you know, the PTO can you know, respond to him or see about the huddle and, you know, about the filming. So I just want to thank Mr. Moss for it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Since I'm sure you guys know more, but he just wanted to ask about it. So since he couldn't be on, he's coaching, and by the way, they're doing really good. Knock on wood so far.
Hopefully we're winning.
We're winning 5-2 so far. So finger crossed. Yes, we're winning 5-2. I can't show you the board. I'm too far, but yeah, so far so good. They're playing hard.
Good.
So they deserve it. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. Okay, so does anyone have any other PTO business before I move on? Okay. All right, well, then, unless there are any objections, meeting is adjourned. 7:38. Okay. All right, so this is usually everyone's favorite meeting. I want to first of all thank all of the students, all the alumni, the alum, for coming back. I have a student in college right now, and I know how busy y'all are. I know it's hard. I know you only come back when you want something. No, I'm kidding. But this is a busy time. I know you're just now picking up steam in this semester, and your time is precious. And y'all logged in early, did not wait until the last moment, and I sincerely appreciate it. It means so much to us to hear back from you guys, because we're many of the parents, if they're not logged in now, they're going to listen to this later. And whenever we've got our students that are freshmen and sophomores and they're struggling, it helps for us to be able to look forward and say, okay, this isn't on the horizon. So thank you. I don't know if Yasi, if we can spotlight or pin our students, but Elissa is here. Nathaniel is here. Riya or Raya?
Riya.
Help me with pronunciation. Riya. Anika sent a video. Who else is here? Are there any other students, former students? Is Reagan here?
Did you say Elissa?
Mm-hmm.
You did. Okay. Yeah, Elissa's here. You did say Elissa.
Okay. All right. If there's someone else here, I apologize. I couldn't make it out of work on time to drive home, so I'm on my laptop. It's a very small screen. Okay, so I'm going to get started, but we also have Gari, who's our VP of volunteers, unless she's logged out, and she helps with our college readiness, and so I'm sure she's going to jump in. Yeah, there, I see her. So I'm sure she'll have some great questions. But first, I just wanted everyone to introduce themselves and tell us where you're going to school and what you're studying. Elissa.
Hello, my name is Elissa, and I'm studying mechanical engineering, and I'm at UT Austin. Hi, Mr. Moss.
My name is Riya Keswani. I'm at my first semester at Rice University, and I'm studying finance and financial computation.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel Barnett. Sorry, I'm a little backlit right now, but I'm at UT Austin studying, what is it now? Biochem and math.
Wow.
Okay. And let me see if I can play this video real quickly.
We can see the video behind you. We just can't hear it.
Oh. Okay. Mm. You can see it, but you can't hear it. Why would that be?
I think when you share a screen, there is a play from computer option that you have to tick.
Let me try. Yes?
No, we can't hear you.
Okay.
So compared to my peers, I do think
We can hear it now. Just maybe rewind it from the beginning.
college a lot easier. The courses depth there. Hello, my name is Anika Palacharla, and I'm currently a freshman at A&M pursuing an engineering major. So compared to my peers, I do think Carnegie has definitely made the transition from high school to college a lot easier. The courses there definitely prepared me well for college, whether it was helping me know how to study properly, approaching difficult exams, and just time management in general. Carnegie definitely made the academic aspect of college seem a lot easier than what I was expecting. I think also being able to take so many APs also helped me because I was able to use the credit from those courses to kind of skip over the foundational courses because I already learned that content, and now I can use it to spend time actually figuring out what I want to do, which is important to me personally, and being able to take classes that my peers might not be taking until the next year. And that's also helpful if you want to graduate early, if that's something you're interested in. I also think the clubs at Carnegie were super important because in college you're able to continue what you're interested in through organizations, and getting involved on campus is super helpful for all the aspects outside of academics, so like social service and even professionally. So I do think Carnegie also prepared me well with that, and so I was able to understand how to balance both things like clubs and school. And I think outside of academics and orgs, honestly, the harder parts for me was learning how to take care of myself and just being an adult and independent, just because Carnegie kind of helped me with everything else in the transition. So I hope this helps. Thank you.
It's over and we can see you now.
Yeah, it's just lagging a lot. Okay. So my first question to everyone is comparing your workload at Carnegie on average, right? Not second semester, junior year, but just on average. How do you feel about college compared to Carnegie academically? And let's just keep it in the same order.
Okay, so I definitely think that the workload in college is a lot lighter, honestly, than Carnegie. Even though the courses are more challenging, you do have more time for yourself. And like the same classes, the same amount of hours you would take in maybe 2 days at Carnegie with like 7 hours or 8 hours of school, you would take throughout the entire week in college. So you really get to focus more on specific classes. So even if it is a little bit more work, it does feel a lot lighter because you're focusing on less subjects and subjects that you're choosing. And obviously, like if you're passionate about your major and what you're taking, then it will be a breeze for you. I also think that the Carnegie has definitely taught me how to read a textbook. A lot of my peers here, I feel like they haven't really gotten so much exposure to college level assignments and being able to time manage well. And I feel like Carnegie definitely has helped in regards to that aspect.
I think that personally speaking, the course load at Rice is definitely large. I think a lot of the degrees here are very big, so students have to kind of you can take a range of 12 to 18 credits to be a full-time enrolled student. And I think a lot of students are on the upper side of those credits. But just like what Elissa said, you know, when you have classes that you really enjoy and you're studying for your major, the work, it doesn't feel, you know, as much as high school where you had to do all these subjects that you might not have particularly been good at, whereas you in college can focus on the things that you like and you enjoy. I was definitely pushed to develop new capabilities this semester, learning a lot of new software like Python and R, but I definitely think that Carnegie equipped me with like the time management skills to handle that. So even though my workload is more now, I feel very well equipped to handle that.
Sure. So one sort of difference I've observed is unstructured versus structured time and how we've been sort of allotted that in high school versus college. Being here at UT, I've definitely had, you know, some days this semester where I'm in a class for maybe 2-3 hours a day, but I'll still spend, you know, 6 to 8, if not much more, working on various assignments. So I think one thing that Carnegie taught me that's let me sort of have much more free time is using that unstructured time really well. So like Elissa said, I know how to read a textbook. I can force myself to get up and read the textbook as opposed to maybe dragging it out a little bit. And then also I find that sort of Carnegie set us up with like a degree of trust between students and teachers similar to that of college. So there's like an understanding that, hey, we are giving you the skills to be independent with what you need to do, as opposed to sort of having very strict guardrails. And I think having those experiences has made me a lot more well equipped to do my work faster and better.
Have you felt that you were lacking in anything? Was there anything that you were surprised by whenever you got to college, like, or was there something that you regret not taking at Carnegie?
Honestly, I felt like I was lacking more in like during the first like couple weeks of the semester because you're joining so many organizations and it makes it a little harder to create consistency in your schedule at first, at least whenever you're like joining all these new organizations and when you're what's it called? And when you're finding your new schedule, because college, it only gives you so much of a schedule. You have to fill in those gaps. I definitely feel like the only regret I have at Carnegie was probably not taking computer science because I'm finding more of an interest in it, especially with undergraduate research. Any of the mechanical engineering labs that I would like to join, I need a little bit more computer science experience. So I feel like that's my only regret is the gap in knowledge I have with computer science.
Yeah, just kind of to like reemphasize what Elissa said. I also wish I took comp sci in high school because I just think it gives you kind of a foundation and something I didn't realize coming in as a business major to Rice. And honestly, any major at Rice is that there will be coding in any major that you take here. So like coming into Rice, I had to learn all of that, you know, from scratch, where I feel like a lot of my peers already had some of that experience. Not that you need to be like an expert when you walk in, but just the idea that you have some of the foundational basics that AP Comp Sci might have given you. I think that's a really undervalued skill that I didn't really invest my time into high school in, but I wish I did. That being said, I think I put a lot of work into it and I picked it up fairly quickly. So it's not a necessity. I think also just acknowledging in college, there is so much, there is a lot on your plate, but it's not just school. So kind of diversifying your interests during high school can help you with that, because like your classes are obviously important, but you have to spend a lot of time in things like clubs and organizations, or even for me, because I'm business, like recruiting and internships. So just the idea that like school is really important, but in college, it's not going to be everything. You need to devote a lot of time to all of those things are going to be really important for your career.
So I also wish I took comp sci in high school, but I won't sort of belabor that point. I think one difference that I found is at Carnegie, I met a bunch of different people with very different backgrounds, and that's one thing that I really did love about that community. But I've not necessarily been prepared for the sheer volume of social interaction that happens in college, right? You've got radically different people in sort of every class that you go to, every club that you join, and that is a little bit draining. I've gotten better at it sort of just with practice, but I have friends who went to high schools with, say, 3,000 people, and I don't necessarily think I wanted that or would ever want that compared to what Carnegie was, but I do think just having practice, like talking to a bunch of people in a row would have been nice.
I'd like to add on just a little bit and say that college at first is honestly very lonely. Like it's very easy to feel alone, especially at such a large university. And that's why it's so important that like you join organizations, because I feel like I didn't really branch out and meet like my closest friends right now until I joined organizations, until like I took like a risk and like sat with some random group of girls in the dining hall, and now they're like my best friends. But I wanted to say that it's not sunshines and rainbows in college, at least for the first couple of weeks, until you get adjusted, because it is hard to leave your parents and to find a new balance for your own life, and to find friends in a school with like 40,000 kids. But yeah.
Those are such excellent points. And actually, I have to say, this is the first time I've really heard the comp sci point, which I know it seems like a weird nitpicky thing, but I'm thinking, because, having a kid from class of 22, and then now one coming up class of 26, I can't think. Who teaches comp sci? I have no idea. Is that a class they can take? I'm guessing. But the last time that comes up in my brain is when they were at Lanier or at Pershing. So yeah, that's a really good point. So yeah, to be continued, Principal Moss. So are you all living on campus, or did anyone choose to do freshman year off campus?
I'm living on campus in a dorm with what's it called? It's honestly, it's really far removed from campus. It's like a 5-minute walk to anything.
I was gonna say that's not Jester.
No, it's not Jester. I'm in San Jack.
I can tell.
Yeah.
At Rice, we kind of have a different system. So I do live on campus, and pretty much like 85% of the Rice population lives on campus. So it's kind of an unpopular choice to live on campus, because we have these things called residential colleges. And I think the best way I can describe it is like Hogwarts with the houses, except we have 11 of them. And they're not based on personality. They're supposed to be like a representation of the diversity in the university. So most people live in their residential college. So we all just live in the same building, and we all identify as a part of our residential college. So I probably will never end up living off campus.
And which one do you live in?
I live in Sid Richardson. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but it's a really nice building, just opened in 2019. So I really love it.
That's
That
nice.
was Miss Chan's college.
Oh, really?
Really? I did not know that.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's very fun. Each college has like their own culture, Like we have special traditions, events like that are just for like Sid Rich. So it's very fun. I think it does make what Elissa was talking about a little easier because, you know, we're kind of separated into these smaller. Oh, we have a hand tonight in the chat, I see. But we have like it's kind of just smaller. Like Sid Rich is actually the biggest college, and we only have about 150 freshmen in Sid. So it just really, at least for the first couple weeks, it's just a lot easier to manage. And we also have O week, which is kind of just like this whole like get to know everybody in your college, and get to have advisors and stuff like that. So it's really nice that Rice does that to kind of make you feel like you have family and a home, because it can be lonely. And I know for some people it still is lonely, even though we have that system.
Daniel?
Sure. So I personally live at, well, actually, I think Miss Chin was in Sid Rich, just to add on to that. But yeah, they seem fun. I live at Duran Hall at UT, which is sort of diametrically opposed to Elissa's dorm, like all the way on the other side of campus. So it's also a little bit far, but I really enjoy it. It's a wonderful community. I've met a bunch of good friends there.
So did any of you consider or have any like purposeful association with either classmates from Carnegie as you went out to school, or previous alumni? Did you use those associations as you went out into your various universities?
So I actually run into a lot of people from Carnegie. I live on the same floor as I think about 4 alums. So they're just right down the hall. And honestly, like I got really close to one of my friends, Edward. He became like almost like my best friend last semester. We hung out a lot and we went to a lot of social events together. And then as for like other alum, I've seen alum from like maybe class of 2021 or class of 2020 actually, in like organizations like Arab Student Association, and I used like those like connections to like, oh hey, like you're from Carnegie, and like it's honestly really like nice to see someone familiar, even though like you didn't really talk to them that much. It's nice to see someone that like you knew but you didn't really know, and then like you get to know them a little bit more.
For me, unfortunately, I was the only person in our class to choose Rice, which is kind of a bummer because a lot of my friends have friends that are like in their same high school class and they, you know, see each other talk. So I think it's nice to have that support from home. But I think in the year above me, class of 2026, I think Carnegie sent something an insane number, like 12 kids maybe, to Rice, and I actually see them all the time. During my O week, I saw I don't know if anyone remembers, but Kyle Knightley, who was a year above me, and you know, so it was nice to see just a familiar face, and I was like, oh, I because he was we have like O week groups, and he was an advisor for my sister O week group, and so it was just nice to see him like in a time where, you know, everything's like so different. I see another alumni. I see Khan a lot. I know Elissa knows him. And yeah, so it's just, you know, I don't get to see him too often, but it's nice to see familiar faces on campus and remind you of home, even though I'm in Houston, so everything reminds me of home. But yeah.
So I do see some number of Carnegie alums just around, especially in the dining hall. I've gone in there probably about once a week, just see like someone I know just kind of hanging out there. So that's nice. In terms of upperclassmen, or at least people who were upperclassmen when I was there, I've been told that a couple of them work in the same lab as me, although I've not run into them yet, so we'll find out if that's true. But I also wanted to add that there are, I think, about 20 people from Carnegie, from my class at UT right now. And while I don't get to see all of them, I think everyone that I was able to form a friendship with when we were in high school, our friendship is such that I could, pick up the phone, call them, say, hey, what are you doing? And sort of pick back up right where we left off. I still see people from A&M, U of H, sort of all over. And I think that's something really special that we have.
That's good to hear. That's something that we as a PTO were trying to work on, strengthening the alumni group so that the alumni become more of a resource to one another and in the future to the students as far as being mentors and future job opportunities. So hopefully that we can make that happen, kind of be the home base for all the alum. I'd like to open it up to some questions. I know, again, we want to be respectful of everyone's time. And the girls soccer won 6-3, yay. Does anyone have any questions for our students before we let them go? I'm running through the chat. I'm going to ask another question. Monopolize. So something that we're trying to do in the PTO is kind of, because obviously we're all parents, we want to use our resources to make opportunities for the students. So y'all have to have 100 hours of volunteer work. So we're trying to make it so that we open up volunteer opportunities for the students so that, two birds, one stone. We need help, you need hours, that's a solution. So as an example. So something else that came up during our college readiness series is that students should have more real world experience. If, for example, they want to be a computer engineer, or not a computer engineer, computer programmer, and they're applying to colleges for computer programming, they should have examples of website design and programming. So we could perhaps have students volunteer to help the PTO with our computer needs, just as an example. What are your thoughts as students that have already gone through the process of applying to school? Is something like that worthwhile? Do you think that it would have been helpful for the PTO to have students do things like that? Or is that just us spinning our wheels? Or do you have other ideas of ways that the PTO can help our students?
Could you rephrase the question with the...
In a more succinct way? Sure, I'll try. Knowing that the PTO has available to it, volunteer opportunities. Like, we can make stuff up, basically. We can generate a volunteer opportunity designed for our high school students so that they help us, and in turn, they are able to put that on their resume, on their college application. So, for example, right now, I have one of the parents probably on this call that is our webmaster. But instead of having a parent do that has a job and is busy, perhaps I would have a student do that. And that student in turn would put that on their resume. Is that something that is helpful for a student that is applying to college in that area? Do you follow? Like,
yeah.
Are those the kind of things that we can do, or do you have other thoughts? How can we as the PTO make more opportunities for students that are applying to college? Like,
I honestly think that's a great idea, because a lot of what universities like to see, and also like future employers, is that you have work experience in your field and that you know that you enjoy what you do, because obviously you like pursue that outside of school. Um, I honestly think it's a good idea to provide opportunities like that, especially like more technical opportunities to gain volunteer work that isn't just volunteering through an organization. It's also using technical skills.
Yeah, I agree. I think any practical experience is not only good for a resume, but also just good for a student's just like personal growth and development. I'm not sure if this idea is possibly too like high level or like overextended for high school. But at Rice, we have these things called externships, which a lot of students do. And it's basically not an internship, but it's the idea that like in this case, it could be parents signing up and being like, this is my job. And if you want to come shadow me for the day for 3 days, you can. And they usually happen over winter break, over spring break. So it's like, for example, like my mom is still a Carnegie parent, my little sister's there. And yeah, if she was to be like, I'm an OBGYN, there's a lot of paper we have to do for that one. But like she could have a couple of students come in and shadow her for the day. And I think it's hard to get that shadowing experience as a high schooler, and that's good for your resume and also good for just, getting a glimpse into what like career you might want to do and that kind of thing. And then I also think but within the PTO is also a good idea. I think schools inherently have a lot of opportunity for positions. Like I intern with Rice right now with the endowment. Obviously the PTO, I don't know if they have an endowment that they invest, but either way, there's positions that could be given out, not maybe to students, but students could help with. And I think that kind of stuff really helps.
Thank you.
So being just familiar with all of the current seniors and I guess by extension, the rest of the people at Carnegie right now, there is just an incredible level of talent, across the board and all sorts of skills. I mean, I won't shout out anyone in particular, but there's just a lot of very talented people. And I'm sure, we all being a great organization, have the capacity to, extend what you're doing to more directly involve the students. I think they're really capable of doing so.
Thank you. Looks like we do have some questions. How did each of you choose the colleges that you are at? Yeah, that's, anyone want to?
So I was in a very like I was really I almost went to Rice. I was like debating it for a solid minute. Like it was like an existential question in my life. But I looked at both universities holistically, and I realized that UT for my major has a really strong program for a price that's like almost unmatched. And there's also so much support that goes into you as a student here, especially at engineering. And it's so popular. The alumni network is so large and so like expensive that I got recognized at the airport, I think like in 3 different countries by wearing a UT sweater. And it was like, wow, like this is amazing. Also, through the company that I won a scholarship through the Society of Women Engineers, and they awarded me like $40,000 for like all 4 years, and it was contingent upon me going to UT. So it was a pretty good deal. I also thought that UT gave me a social life that I've never experienced at Carnegie, by going to like huge football games and going and having a sports school and having so many opportunities with organizations. And I kind of liked being a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, Rice is definitely an expensive school. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the financial aid is very good. That's definitely true. But $80K a year is still like for any family. I mean, it's It's crazy, but I definitely don't regret it. I love rice. If I could recommend it to everyone, I would. I think I just chose it because like I loved the residential college system, and I had heard of everyone here just being really happy. And it's such a fun, quirky place. And I think it's very much a place where it's like, it's a work hard, play hard mindset. Like everyone I know here is so dedicated, so hardworking, but like we still have all these like fun, weird events, and people here like to let loose. And I say if your child is thinking about rice, I would definitely recommend it. I met like the best people here, and I mean it's definitely a tough school. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but I'm really having a great time.
So in my case, I didn't quite have the admission season I wanted to, a bunch of tough wait lists towards the end. But I ended up going with UT because the environment really is unparalleled. Like you throw 40,000 very interesting people sort of in the middle of downtown Austin, and what could go wrong, right? So there's something like 1,000 different organizations to join, and I've found a few really good ones and just really found a strong community there. And that was a very big part of the appeal.
And I'll go ahead and put in my 2 cents since I'm a UT alum. And so if you're coming back to Houston, please join the Texas. I'm also the scholarship chair for Texas, and I'm going to drop in the chat. We are looking for scholarship reviewers. Right now, I need to get in all our reviewers by February 7th. So if you are an alum, or if you just love Texas and love to review scholarships, please sign up, because we review a lot of scholarships, and our students from Carnegie always look awesome. It is very satisfying. Okay, sorry. Moving on. Okay, last questions. I think, oh, yeah. And I agree about Rice's culture. Yeah. My son goes and with his friend from Rice, and then he picks up his friend from UT, and then, yeah, it's just like it's a whole thing. So anyways, okay. So I thank you all for spending this time with us, and everyone for staying on the call. We will post this. Does anyone have any last words? Anyways, Principal Moss.
I just want to thank everybody for attending, but especially our guest presenters, my kids. It's so good to see you all, to hear from you, and to know that you're doing well. Thank you again. This is invaluable. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so
Have a
much.
great semester.
Thank you.